Philip Clayton fell in love with a piece of House Mountain one day when he was 14.
That was um, one one square cabin, 2 stories high, and it was leaning, but there was a sweet old mountain man that lived in it, dear old fella, and he was known to be cantankerous to some people, but to me, we got along very well because I knocked on his door, and at first he was a little bit gruff. He said, opened the door and said, "What do you want?" And I said, "Well, sir, my name is Philip Clayton. I live down the bottom of the mountain, and I've just seen your farm for the first time, and I've fallen in love with it, and I want to live here someday, so if you ever want to sell it, I want to buy it."
Clayton left the area to pursue a career as a pilot and returned to find the same piece of land waiting for him. Now, nearly 50 years later, he owns more than 500 acres of the mountain, including the property that once belonged to the mountain man. He calls this land breathtaking and believes it is a part of both the community's history and future.
My family, there's many children and nephews, and they're having children now, so there's generations coming along that if we don't save places like this, these places will be lost forever.
Since 1979, Clayton has restored most of the buildings on his land: log cabins, a large barn, and some smaller sheds. He has built low walls along the road with stones from his property. Although he continues to build, he is also determined to protect his land from bigger scale development. The key to that is conservation easements, legal steps landowners can take to protect their land from development forever.
And I think my generation very often buys and develops and moves on and makes money, moves on, and they don't really think about the repercussions of that development years down the road.
Clayton also sees conservation as a way to retain the area's agricultural past.
And I think that's essential because really farming is such a huge part of our heritage as Americans. I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, that's who the first people were. They cleared land and they started farming.
Now, Clayton's land gives him a window into two worlds, the old and the new.
There's an old set of ruins all back in through here that is an old settlement called Jacktown. The new Jacktown is down at the bottom of the big hill that you came up, that's winding, climbing up the mountain. That's new Jacktown, but old Jacktown is right back here on my farm. And I think that everyone who sees it feels like they've gone back into the past.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Katie Sheeler.